So we should lessen the consumption as well at magtipid din tayo sa kuryente kasi otherwise, kung wala tayong gagawin ng personal capacity, even sa business, tataas talaga yung demand sa kuryente. At ang pinakamahalaga, mga kaibigan, mga kabataan, alam mo, Tolik, no? Matuto po tayo manindigan, no? Sa kung ano ang tama, na dapat protektahan ang kalikasan. Pag talagang mali, magsalita po tayo. At higit sa lahat, sa 2025, ito, mag-e-elect na naman tayo ng leaders, mga kaibigan. Let us please elect green leaders, no? Leaders who have a passion for the environment, leaders who have a track record of protecting the environment and serving the people. Hindi lang sa sinasabi nila, kundi pati sa gawa nila.
Presented by Mighty Energy Online, a residential solar rooftop supplier.
Welcome to Power Talks by Paref, where we dive deep into the world of energy, exploring how we can make it more affordable, reliable, and sustainable for everyone. I'm your host, Nick Satur Jr., and today we have a very special guest with us, David D'Angelo, the president of Green Party of the Philippines. We'll be discussing the impact of energy on climate change and the environment. And why is it crucial to have organizations advocating for clean and reliable energy that benefits both the planet and the people? All right, so David, let's get started.
Yes, hi. Good day, Nick. How are you? Makalikasang araw po sa inyong lahat, mga kababayan. And it's glad to be here in your podcast, Nick.
Yeah, thank you very much, David. No, maraming salamat at pinagbigyan mo kami para maging guest dito. So, bago tayo mag-umpisa, pwede mo bang ikwento sa amin kung paano nagsimula ang Green Party of the Philippines at ano ang nag-udyok sa iyo para pamunuan ang grupong ito? Ngayon, to all our viewers, no, David is the president of the Green Party of the Philippines, and we have been working together in advocating for a more progressive energy sector and to better the welfare of the environment. So, yun, David, para makwento mo naman sa ating mga viewers at makilala nila si Green Party of the Philippines.
Yeah, I think the Green Party of the Philippines started in 2003, no? As Partido Kalikasan. It was an organization, a political movement that was started by various environmental organizations. So kasama dito sina J.B. Garganera ng Alyansa Tigil Mina, sina Dr. Nina Galang ng Green Convergence, and many others that convened and realized that it's about time for green governance, or for environmental advocacy to enter into politics. So that was in 2003. I joined as member of the Partido Kalikasan in 2004 as part of the youth movement because I was a member of the Youth for Sustainable Development Assembly and also by a member of the Asia-Europe Youth Network for Sustainable Development. So yun, ano lang ako, parang I'm a plain member and representing the youth. And then siguro it undergo many upheavals, alam mo naman ang mga organizations, no?
Yes,
Leaders and members tend to discuss on various issues and sometimes may necessary splits na nangyayari. So I think I rejoined the Green Party of the Philippines way back in 2018.
Okay.
Because my last participation was 2010 as part of the campaign for Dick Perlas.
Wow, tagal na, no?
Who ran for president. Siya yung isa sa ulang presidente na tumakbo under a full environmental agenda. So after 2010, I was very disgruntled of the political system. Sabi ko, wala na pag-asa ang Pilipinas kasi vote buying and everything, kahit anong ganda, wala namang mangyayari. And then I was invited again to be part of the Green Party. Ano pa siya noon? Iba pa yung pangalan, laging Partido Luntian, laging Action Kalikasan, laging Green Philippines, and then laging Green Party of the Philippines. So 2018, I joined as the national spokesperson of the party. And then eventually in 2020, during the pandemic, I was elected to be the president of the party.
So Para sa mga hindi nakakaalam, ano nga ba yung green governments or green movement na lagi nating sinisigaw at lagi nating hinihingi sa ating mga gobyerno? Baka pwede mong, can you expound further on what is the green movement?
Yung kasi sinasabi natin green governance, it is a governance based on nature. Ibig sabihin, the policies that are being enacted with the government should be in consonance with sustainable development. Not only
Sustainable, yeah.
sustainable development, but ecological sustainable development. Meaning, rights of nature, yung equity ng kalikasan, yung consideration for the next generation. Yun yung tinatawag natin na green governance. Yung mga green movements, these are all the CSO, the civil society organizations,
Mhm.
all the non-government organizations and other uh, smaller farmers, peasant organizations that are advocating for various advocacies for the environment. Merong laban sa mining, merong para sa agriculture,
Yes.
merong para sa rivers and things like that.
Mhm. Ayun. So, makikita natin sa tingin mo ba, like, election is coming up again, and you think that our lawmakers, itong tagagawa ng ating mga pulisiya, sapat na ba yung ating mga batas to para sa pangangalaga ng enerhiya at ng ating kalikasan?
I would say that there are already good laws that are passed by Congress and the Senate, but they are not being implemented, and the
Yeah,
Senate and the Congress are not exercising their oversight, no,
oversight.
on these laws. Lalo ecological solid waste management, napakagandang law, pero kita-kita mo na basura natin nagkakain tambak,
Mhm.
bumabaha. Kita-kita mo tong renewable energy act, no, dapat supposed to be by 2020, I guess it should be 60% renewable and the rest uh, are fossil, 40, dapat mabaliktad. Pero ngayon, I think it's still, correct me if I'm wrong, 70% ang fossil fuel, 60 to 70% ang fossil fuel, and very small pa rin yung renewable energy. So, may mga gandang mga batas, hindi na i-implement. And at the same time, marami pang kailangan gawin at kailangan ayusin. Unang-unang na, we do not have a comprehensive environmental code, no? Na sa dami ng environmental laws, mahirap siya i-implement kasi hindi siya na-codified. So, yun yung isa sa kailangan siguro gawin na magkaroon talaga ng environmental code of the Philippines, the same as the local government code.
Yeah, I totally agree, no, na andun yung problema natin. Magaganda yung mga batas pero kulang tayo sa implementation ng ating mga batas. So parang useless rin lang yung batas, no. And we really hope that moving forward we can see more of the implementation of these good laws. Pero David, no, we are still waiting for more laws that would take care of the environment as well as to promote a more progressive energy sector. Sa Green Party of the Philippines, ano pa ba yung mga ibang batas na gusto nyong makita na ma-implement or isa batas kung sakali?
Unang-una, I think one that we are supporting currently is the enactment of the Rights of Nature Act, no? The rights of nature give the same rights as humans to nature, so that
Mhm.
yeah, they can pwede silang magdemanda kung may naninira sa kalikasan. So it's very paramount since this view would eventually change na mangyayari na ang kalikasan ay primary, no? Para marating natin yung karapatang pantao at karapatang economic and political, because we are all part of nature in a sense. Talaga naman bahagi tayo ng kalikasan. So isa yan, yung rights of nature. Pangalawa doon, itong alternative minerals management bill, no? That is calling on for renewed thinking on how we do mining in the Philippines. Kasi we have around 500 plus, I think, mining concessionaires in the Philippines and are really destroying the environment. But our
Mhm.
Mining Act of 1995 is really anti-Filipino. Kanina nga, Nick, no, mayroon akong sa Palawan yata itong mining na nakita ko na for the first time, there were numerous testimonies na naging successful pala itong bilahang ito sa Palawan to rehabilitate the environment talaga. Wala silang nasira masyadong puno, nakapagtanim sila ng mangroves and everything. Meron palang gano'n na
Possible
case
pala, no?
study.
Mhm.
Pero the DNR itself, at one of the meetings siguro ng Kabayan Forum, they even said na wala pa daw nangyayaring successful rehabilitation. Pero meron pala. So, I think it's good to really look into this kasi hindi naman talaga pwedeng totally stop yung mining. We can do uh, mining in areas that are not critical to the environment, and it should be really for the country. Kasi dito, ang ine-export natin, lupa, madalas, di ba? Hindi naman tayo nagpa-process madalas ng raw material sa Pilipinas. Isa pa sa
Yes.
pinupuso natin, yung pagkakaroon no, ng, gaya nga nung ano lang pare, yung renewable, clean, and affordable energy. Not only on utilizing the national grid, but also advocating for the community grid system kung saan magiging top-down, uh, bottom up yung
Mhm.
pagtingin sa pangangailangan sa enerhiya and not just looking at the energy needs at the national level. So this includes the amendment siguro of the IPIRA law, the looking into the law on electric cooperatives, and
Yes.
revisiting the Renewable Energy Act.
Yes, totally agree. Kung titignan natin, ang daming nagsasabi, David, na ang renewable energy tulad ng solar, hangin, mga to ay nakakatulong nga sa pagbabago ng klima at ng pagpapangalaga ng ating kalikasan. Ngunit hindi daw ito sustainable. Hindi ito pwedeng gamitin sa base load. Hence, we are still relying on fossil fuels for our base load. What do you think about this? No? Ito yung lagi nilang sinasabi na hindi tayo pwedeng mag-renewable. It's so hard for us, no, to transition into renewable energy. No? What can you say about this, David?
I think ang isa kasi sa nakikita ko, yung pagtingin kasi sa pangailangan ng kuryente ay very nationalized. Kumbaga, ano ang need ng Pilipinas in totality sa kuryente? Rather than, for example, in the Cordillera Autonomous Region, ano ba pangailangan ng CAR? Ano ba pangailangan ng particular province? And then sagutan mo yung pangailangan doon together with ano ba yung renewable energy na available. For example, sa Quezon or sa Manila, ano ba yung available na renewable energy na pwedeng gamitin? At ano ba yung
Mhm.
power needs and energy needs ng lugar? Kasi kapag tinignan mo talaga ng national, most of the, sasabihin mo talaga, hindi dito kaya kasi ang laki ng tinitingnan mo eh. So
Yeah.
kailangan mo talagang hati-hatiin siya at i-localize yung pag-resolve sa problema ng energy.
Yeah, exactly. Agree, no? Although we could look at it on a holistic level, pero
Yeah.
meron kasi tayong mga solutions din, no, on a regional level. Diba? Na per region, magkakaiba ang pangangailangan, different needs, different demands, which renewable energy could actually become one of the solutions, no, to provide the reliable power on that area. But definitely, hindi naman talaga pwede na ito ang gamitin in Manila or in Laguna wherein andun yung mga manufacturing companies. We can't use RE as a base load. But in some areas, possible talaga that RE is a possibility, no, to solve yung mga reliability problem in the said provinces. No, very well said, David. No, so nabanggit nga natin na ang Pilipinas ay isa sa mga bansa na madaling maapektuhan ng pagbabago ng klima. At nakita naman natin na kada na lang may bagyo, apektado yung ang ating electrical wires, no, apektado, kawawa yung ating mga kababayan, at hindi lang isa o dalawa ang typhoon na inaasahan natin taon-taon, no. So paano ba nakikita na nakakatulong ang tamang paggamit ng enerhiya para mabawasan ang epekto nito sa climate change?
Sa totoo lang kasi isa sa pinakamalaking gumagamit ng energy, ito actually kasi yung rebuttal sa atin ng pag gumagamit ka ng computer and everything. The biggest user of energy are actually computer servers. So kung gumagamit tayo ng internet, gaya ngayon, hindi man sa Pilipinas, ito yung pinakamatindi na nagiging contributor sa climate change, isa sa
Ah,
in the sector of energy. Kasi kapag hindi renewable yung pinaggagamitan nito, ang pinagkukunan, talaga malaki ang consumption ng internet. So,
mhm.
I think mas maganda kasi na tulad ng sinabi mo, yung power lines, no? I think kailangan may study kung pwede bang ilipat na sa underground kasi sinasabi naman baka naman
Oo.
lumid doon, masisira naman yung wiring doon. Pero mas maganda kung, di ba, ilipat somewhere else rather than kada bagyo
Yeah.
nasisira yung mga power lines natin dahil sa mga bagyo.
Yeah, speaking of that, David, kung tutusin, meron akong research isang ginawa ko noon, and I have written an article on this, which is climate proofing, no? Climate proofing the energy sector. And yun yung isa na tinitignan natin, why not put it on the underground, which is already existing in the Philippines. No, existing na siya sa Philippines. You can find some in Ayala and in Cebu. No, implemented na siya in the BGC area, in Ayala area, no, pero hindi sa buong Pilipinas. Kung lilipat naman tayo sa Japan, yung kanilang kalsada are actually solar panels yung iba, diba?
Hmm.
So gumagamit sila ng RE kasi isang ang laging sinasabi ang problema ng RE is space. It takes a lot of space, no? And yung space na kinukuha ni solar, no, hindi kaya na i-accommodate pag maliliit yung mga areas. So kung titignan natin, yung climate proofing our energy sector, it's actually one way, no, to help our consumers and to help our lineman para mabawasan yung mga na-aksidente, no. So possible na siya kasi nangyari na, it was already implemented. Ano kaya sa tingin mo, David, ang kulang? Siguro maybe it's more on political will. Well, of course, budget, sabihin nila.
Probably subsidy rin kasi dahil I think
Mhm.
we met with the Green Party of Denmark before. Tapos may binigay silang bag, no? Bag sa akin.
Oo.
Nakita ko doon, mayroon siyang mga tinatawag na certification, no?
Mhm.
Na ang certification nila, kada proseso na pinagdadaanan ng isang gamit ay sinecertify, no? So ano kinalaman doon sa energy? For example, may isang kumpanya, isang aspect ng certification is yung use mo ng energy. So green certified ka for energy. Pagdating sa process, certified ka for
Yeah.
green certified. And at the end, the government can actually give tax incentives to those who are really following the green certification. So kada step nung ano mo, 100% kang green company, you're given, for example, 50% na tax incentive, di ba? It's a good thing, di ba? Kasi hindi susunod yung mga business kung wala naman silang, to
Mm.
be honest, di ba?
Yes, yes.
In our capitalist system, kung wala silang incentives na makukuha. Pangalawa, I think dun sa bahay naman, no? Sa homes, on how they could use solar power, no? Ang isa kasi sa maling nangyayari, for example, ako may bahay ako, I want to use renewable energy, solar. Ang gagawin lang marami, I would measure all of the gadgets in my home. Tapos bibili ako ng solar to power those gadgets. Which is actually wrong. Dapat alamin mo, ito mga gadgets na to necessary? Are these gadgets really efficient? Baka may pwede
Yes.
kang tanggalin o alisin o
Mhm.
magsasabay-sabay ba siya ng gamit? Kasi kung hindi na magsasabay-sabay, mas makakamura ka. Or kung mas efficient yung gagamitin mong equipment, mas makakamura ka. And the government should incentivize uh, corporations or businesses who are actually using
Who are
renewable
actually
objectives.
using, yes.
Eh, dito, pinapahirapan pa tayo, di ba? Yung net metering, ang hirap mag-apply, lugi ka pa.
Although may mga programs na si DOE, no, encouraging actually the public as well as corporations to use RE, no, pero yun yung sabi mo, minsan yung proseso yun yung nagpapahirap. Ang ganda-ganda ng programa pero minsan ang hirap ng proseso. Yun. And anyway, David, if you remember doon sa ating Batangas Energy Forum last 2023, isa sa mga insights na lumabas nung forum natin, ang nagsasabi na ang clean energy is expensive at hindi siya ah, kasing reliable ng ating mga traditional sources of energy, no? So ito yung argument na ginagamit ng mga iba na ayaw sa RE or sabihin natin na doubtful sa RE. So what can you say about this, David?
Ang ano kasi diyan, totoo naman siguro na yung clean energy might be expensive at the beginning. When you do the initial capitalization, talaga expensive. Pero is it more expensive than sacrificing your health, so the health of the community, or sacrificing the next generation, yung kalusugan nila, yung surroundings and everything? So I think mas beneficial siya pag tinignan mo sa aspeto na hindi siya nakakasira ng kalikasan, hindi siya nakakadagdag sa nararanasan nating krisis sa klima. So dapat doon mo kasi tignan Parang it's the same thing as eating healthy food. For example, bibili ako ng fresh na gulay. Mas mahal. Versus bibili ako, for example, lang instant noodles. Instant noodles, sabi ni dito ay 7 pesos lang. Healthy food, magkano gastos ko? 50. So, so pag kumain ka ng instant noodles, nakamura ka. Pero in the long run, mas napamahal ka kasi magkakasakit ka, magbabayad ka ng gamot, di ba? And yung condition mo will not be better. So, dapat kasi yung perspective ganun It might be more expensive, but in the long run, and when you add up the other values, it's actually cheaper than fossil fuel.
Yeah, I totally agree, no, na minsan kasi sila, they're looking at it yung initial cash out. But if we look at it in the long run, no, actually kung makikita natin parang mas mura pa siya, di ba? So siguro yung sa pare kasi, it's not only the cost that we are concerned with, no. Aside from affordability, we're also concerned on the reliability of the power, no. So siguro ang kailangan lang natin dito is a proper energy mix, no, proper balance of everything. No, that we have RE, we're developing RE, but at the same time, no, while we're doing that, no, we can also add other sources of energy. So parang proper balance lang, no. Ayun. So titignan natin anong masasabi mo, David, sa mga kabataan naman na nanonood ngayon. Ayan, papanood ka mula Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. There are a lot of youth, no, who are also climate warriors na tinatawag, or itong mga advocates for climate change, no. How can they reach you, or if can they collaborate with you, like people from Mindanao collaborate with GPP? Paano ba? How can they reach you, David?
Actually, the Green Party of the Philippines is open for membership for everyone naman. You can visit our
Okay.
website, greenparty.ph, or message the Facebook page, Green Party of the Philippines, and join the party, or you can contact us and collaborate with the Green Party of the Philippines. So, ako naman, may page din ako, facebook.com/D'Angelo for more senator, or at David D'Angelo PH. I'm very welcome naman to work with the youth kasi naniniwala naman ako na ang kabataan ay kumikilos, at lalo na ngayon, they are movers of change for the society. Lalo na kasi ngayon, Nick, na I don't want to sugarcoat it kasi ito, nakorek ako last time ng isang environmental organization, because I'm saying that we are already reaching the threshold of 1.5. And mitigation should not only be the answer that, or the thing that we are trying to do. We should not only mitigate climate change and have hope, kasi lahat tayo gusto natin, may pag-asa tayo, hindi natin maaabot yung 1.5, di ba? Pero what if maabot natin? What if lahat tayo pag-asa lang yung dala? At dumating tayo sa point na, ayan, walang nangyari, 1.5 nandyan. So, I think the youth should also be prepared to start adaptation and looking at adaptation to the climate crisis. Ano ba yung ating mga kailangan gawin? Paano natin ka-climate proof yung energy sector? Paano natin ka-climate proof yung mga bahay natin na naapektuhan ng bagyo, naapektuhan ng baha? Paano natin ka-climate proof yung pagkain na napakahalaga, tubig na napakahalaga sa bawat isa? Ano yung dapat natin gawin para makapag-attack dito sa adapt dito sa crisis na ito? Kasi this is already happening eh. Hindi ba pwedeng, naniniwala ako, ang lakas ng
Yeah.
panalangin ko na hindi ito matutuloy. What if it happens and we are not prepared? So it should be a two-way process that all of us, especially the youth, needs to be prepared. Nakakaawa kayo kabataan kasi actually this is the fault of the previous generations and of course the previous leaders who had not done anything to really calm down or turn down their emission. Kaya nandito tayo sa juncture na ito na may crisis tayo.
Yun. So, kung sakali, David, ano ang masasabi mo na pinakamalaking achievement or tagumpay ni GPP para maitaguyod ang malinis na enerhiya dito sa Pilipinas or even in policy making?
I think GPP still has a long way to go. And it needs to popularize itself kasi the Green Party in the Philippines is not as popular as the Green Party in Europe, no? I think most of the Green parties in Asia is struggling, no? We have a long way to go. We have to work together with other organizations and we still have to prove ourselves.
Yes. So makikita natin there are a lot of consumer groups and a lot of organizations in the Philippines. No? And isa sa ating
Bigla akong
layunin
tubig,
na there are a lot of organizations. Ang gusto sana natin is halos lahat tayo would work together, no, because we have a common goal and a common purpose, and that is to actually, to have better and environmental laws and to have a more progressive energy sector. Yeah. So sa ating pagtatapos, David, bago tayo, before we end our podcast, ano ang gusto mong iparating sa ating mga tagapakinig, tungkol sa kahalagahan ng paggamit ng malinis na enerhiya at paano sila makakatulong para mapabuti ang ating kalikasan?
I think it's very important that we transition, we had a just transition, no, to a cleaner, more affordable, and reliable energy. Kasi it's a big help, no, to lessen the emissions that we're having. Although ang Pilipinas naman 0.001 lang yung contribution, but still we need to go there, no. But more than that, aside from transitioning to renewable energy, we should also at the same time protect our natural resources kasi that's the strongest that we have, and we're not actually doing a very good job in protecting our natural resources, protecting our rivers, and protecting the things that we have, no. Nagpo-focus tayo masyado dun sa mga bagay na sinasabayan kasi natin yung ibang bansa, nakakalimutan natin yung kung ano marami tayo. So dapat magkasabay yun na gawin natin. At the same time, all of us could contribute actually to helping reduce the demand for energy. Kasi palagi sinasabi yan, di ba? Pag hindi ginagamit, patayin, buy more efficient equipment, do not buy too many equipment. Like sinasabi ko palagi, TV mo, kailangan ba kada kwarto may TV? So we should lessen the consumption as well at magtipid din tayo sa kuryente kasi otherwise, kung wala tayong gagawin ng personal capacity, even sa business, tataas talaga yung demand sa kuryente. At ang pinakamahalaga, mga kaibigan, mga kabataan, alam mo, Tolik, no? Matuto po tayo manindigan, no? Sa kung ano ang tama, na dapat protektahan ang kalikasan. Pag talagang mali, magsalita po tayo. At higit sa lahat, sa 2025, ito, mag-e-elect na naman tayo ng leaders, mga kaibigan. Let us please elect green leaders, no? Leaders who have a passion for the environment, leaders who have a track record of protecting the environment and serving the people. Hindi lang sa sinasabi nila, kundi pati sa gawa nila. Kailangan po natin na mga ma-elect mula sa konsihal, mayor, sa miyembro ng panlalawigang konseho, governor, vice governor, senador at congressman na kahit papaano, hindi ko sinasabi kahit pa paano po ay kakampi ng kalikasan. And I'm not saying ako lang yon. We need people. And I believe there are a lot of people who care for the environment. This should be more than just the who, but the what and the platforms that the candidates are really going to bring on the table for next year's elections. Because it's very critical. That's 2025 now. We have 5 years to 2030, which is, I think, a very critical year for climate change.
Totally agree with you, David. And for our viewers, we are pressed with time as much as we want to go further with this, pero kulang na po tayo sa oras. But you can always catch us, Pare and Green Party of the Philippines or GPP and David De Angelo has a lot of roundtable discussions and open forums when it comes to a more progressive energy sector and how we could be part of helping improve the environment's welfare. So ngayon, thank you very much, David, for joining us. Salamat sa pagsama sa atin at sa
Walang
pagbabahagi
anuman.
ng inyong pananaw tungkol sa ugnayan ng enerhiya at kalikasan. Tandaan po natin na ang desisyon natin ngayon tungkol sa enerhiya at sa ating kalikasan ay siyang huhubog sa ating kinabukasan. Kaya sama-sama po tayo na ipagpatuloy at itaguyod ang advokasya sa mas malinis na enerhiya at pangalagahan ng ating kalikasan. I am Nick Satur Jr., your host. We are Pare, and of course, we advocate for a more affordable and reliable energy through energy literacy. And David?
Yes, I'm David Angelo, President of the Green Philippines. And syempre kasama ng pare, of course, kalikasan muna ang aming ina-advocate para sa isang masagana at luntiang Pilipinas.
There you go. Thank you very much and see you on our next episode. Thank you.